Welcome to day 25 of your acceleration journey. Today we're going to talk about another aspect of the shift, and that is the shift itself. So we started with the trigger, right? The thing that sent you into the spiral, that pushed you into the next phase, which is the dark. In the dark, we dealt with the feelings, the anger, the frustration, everything that we felt inside of the dark. And then we moved to the drift. Now, what was the drift all about? The drift was all about examining the facts. What was really happening in here? Can I prove this story to be true, right? And now we are in the shift. Now, I want to talk about a very important concept inside of the shift. And it's this idea that perception is reality, right? Perceiving a threat versus a real threat are two different things. Now, being a police officer, we dealt with this all the time. Someone reaching behind their back and doing this, we perceive as a threat. Why? Because a normal person wouldn't do this, right? Now, did that mean that they have a weapon back there or not? I don't know, right? But our perception was that there was a weapon back there, okay? So what happens is when we perceive a threat, we create something called tunnel vision. And tunnel vision only allows us to focus on 10% of what's happening, right? So if I see something in your hands that's a dark metal object, I'm focused on your hand and the dark metal object. If you're coming at me with your fists up, I'm focused on you and your fists up. There could be any of a number of things happening around me. You're coming at me with your fists up, and your two buddies are coming at me with bats. But because I'm so focused on you, I'm never going to see them coming, right? Our perception then forces us into tunnel vision. And tunnel vision doesn't allow us to see the whole picture. Doesn't allow us to see everything, right? So where we perceive a threat, then we end up making decisions based off of that perception. Now, what the shift portion of the shift allows us to do is control our own reality, right? You can move forward or you can stay the same. Going back to my example, I can choose to say this is an idiot driver and he shouldn't be driving ever again. And if I ever see him again, I'm going to do harm to him. I could choose that perception, or I could say, you know what, I want to move forward. I want to move beyond this. And I'm going to continue asking questions that are going to lead me down this path of exploration, that are going to lead me down the path of finding a solution versus continually staying in the same problem, the same issue, and dealing with it over and over and over again. So when we're shifting reality, there's 5 things that we're going to look at. Number 1 is how do we stop the drift? Right? We talked about this yesterday. You can either jump out of an airplane without a parachute or with one. Which one's going to give you more control? Which one's going to allow you to determine the direction that you're moving in? The first one, stop the drift. The second area then is assess reality, right? Ask yourself, what is really happening right now? Remove all the feelings, remove all the emotions. What's really happening right now? The third thing is clarify desire. In other words, what is it that you really want? Out of this situation, out of everything that's happening, what do you really want? Do you really want to do harm to somebody? Do you really want to move out of the house? Do you really want to fire that employee? Is that really what you want? The next area that we talk about is reframe reality. Again, you control reality. Your perception becomes your reality. Your actions are based off of your perception. So if we control the perception, we control the reality that we want. And the last phase, which is move forward, right? Your actions lead to results, but your belief or your perception leads to your actions, leads to your results. So, how do we create our own reality? Next question inside of this same example that I'm going to use, right? What is your ideal story? My ideal story is this poor young gentleman was completely distracted and didn't even see me. That's it. My ideal story. Now, what facts do you have to prove that the ideal version of the story is true? Well, he didn't look in his rearview mirror. He didn't flip me off. He didn't pull a gun out. He didn't throw a rock at me. He didn't get out and hit my car with a baseball bat. So looking at the ideal version of the story, how does it make you feel? Better. Like almost indifferent, which isn't a bad thing, right? So he cut me off. He didn't see me. Is my life negatively or positively impacted by that? Well, it's neither if I choose for it to be neither. And so, how does it make you feel? Better. Better that, hey man, he just didn't even see me. He just cut me off. which version of the story you're choosing to move forward with. This guy's an idiot and he shouldn't be driving, or he didn't even see me. He's just doing what I would have done if I didn't see somebody behind me. So I'm going to choose the ideal version. I'm going to choose a version of the story that gives me the result that I want, that allows me to control my reality. Why am I choosing this version of the story? I'm choosing it because, again, there's a negative feeling and there's anger and frustration attached with he shouldn't be driving, he's an idiot driver. And when I say, he didn't see me, there's a completely different feeling around that. I'm much more calm, I'm much more peaceful, I'm much more relaxed. And that's ultimately why I want that version of the story. So today's assignment is a continuation of the one from yesterday, right? You're going to continue to work through the shift. You're going to talk about all these questions that came up based off of the original trigger that you had. And then you're going to record a 2-minute video where you talk about your thoughts and your feelings as you started to consider the different versions of the story. All right, you guys know what time it is. It's time to get after it. 3, 2, 1, off you go.